there, kiddos. What's going on? It is Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. White people taco night. It's not, but I'm just saying. Anyway, good streams yesterday. We got some good stuff done here. I have a confession to make to you guys. I worked on the gun a little bit after last night's stream. I know. Sorry. But I got some really cool shit done on it. I just couldn't help myself. And then by the time I realized what I was doing, I was just like, ah, shit. So, but I don't think you'll be too mad because it looks pretty damn good. I'm really happy with it, and I'll show you what I did here in a second. But let's say hi to everybody. Brandon, what's going on, buddy? Julius, Mr. Charles Dodge. Hello, gents. Hope you're having a good day. Let's go camera 2 and show you kind of what we did here. Let's get the tools and stuff out of the way and turn this guy around. Here we go. Alright, so here's the arm holding the new weapon, right? And as you can see, the addition that I made was this little kind of jut out here, and then of course put the pew-pew end on it, as they say. This, the handle here, the hand itself has a kind of a square rectangular peg that you can you know, slot into a weapon to make it hold the weapon a lot better. But the unicorn handle doesn't have a pass-through for that, you know, rectangular peg. So I had to basically just kind of scribe that out, and it's really nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. Another really cool part about the hand for an arm unit of the Shiki, and also the weapon. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there's just this little, yeah, right there, perfect. See this little notch in the handle? Fits perfectly with the little thumb area here. It's just perfect. It was meant to be. It was just meant to be. Yeah, that's looking really, really good, really quite nice. I so love the look of this thing, and we're going to continue on shaping this thing up and just making it look as good as possible. So let's get this a little tight on the peg there, but that's actually a good thing. I want that, but you can kind of see that little rectangular tab right here. It's on most newer master grades. Right there, that little guy. And, you know, if it folds into, you know, the hand and everything, so it can hold other things, or, you know, do a pose, or, you know, something along those lines. But, yeah, so the handle for the beam magnum here didn't have a this wasn't all the way through. This wasn't you know, like a pass through. So I'm not sure what the deal is with the master grade unicorn, but I had to scribe through the already, you know, the molded in part for the tab. So yeah. Anywho, there's our weapon. Looking really good. We're going to continue to work on the barrel section here and just kind of continue to refine that. Just did a little shaping and little tidying up on some of the sides here that were a little weird, a little hinky, but that's good there. But we're going to focus our attention on this guy right here. Now, obviously I did, you know, the heavy plating around the front and the top here. Now I want to do something a little bit on the sides just to kind of bring that out again, right? So that's what we're going to be doing here real quick. So Let's see. Orfeo. Caught it again. Too bad I'm going to work in 20 minutes. Oh, man. That's okay. That's okay. No worries. No worries. Rewatch it later, you know. All right. So, for the... let's get the drum off of there. Now, for, the bottom parts here, I used 1.5 millimeter plastic sheet to kind of widen that bottom section out here, right? And I used the same thickness to, plate the top and the front here as well. Now, what I want to do, I don't want to go as thick as, as this down here. I want this to be kind of prominent and kind of on its own, right? So what I figure we'll do is do, a plate right here to bump out that top part, and we'll only use like maybe 0.5 millimeter sheet on that point. So I think, yeah, we just use this kind of as a template. So we'll use this here as kind of our starting point. So let's first figure out what we need in terms of dimensions here. So that is 7.5 from the bottom of this to the top of this strip, right? 7.5. So we'll maybe cut it at 9 millimeters just to be on the safe side, so we have some good overhang there. So let's do that first. And for this, let's get the 1, 2, 3 blocks in here. Right there. All right. Now, since this is so thin, I'm just going to cut this with my knife. No need to scribe anything. There won't be a ton of plastic displacement from just cutting it. And there we go. Boom. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so... yeah, we'll just plate that top part there. And then that'll give us a good amount of overhang that we can just clip off and then refine and all that good stuff. All right, so let's make sure that this piece is, number one, nice and square. That one is good there. And that's square there. Let's check the other. Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. So let's check length here. How are we looking? No, we need another strip of this. All right, no problem. No problem at all. All right, good deal. Boom. All right. Oh, I cut it the wrong way. Oh well, no matter. No matter. All right. Let's make sure that this part is now nice and square. And it should be. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So now we need to kind of come up with what this whole thing is going to look like on here. The design, the shape of it, right? So that's what we need to do here. So let's see. Let's first strike our line down here for this. Let's get the 1, 2, 3s back in here just to make life a little bit easier here for us. All right. Get our pencil. Now, since this is wider, right? We can't just lay it here on the 1, 2, 3 blocks, it'll be at an angle, right? So what I like to do is just kind of hang that part off the edge, and now this main part of the barrel just lays flat onto you know, the 1, 2, 3 blocks here. And then let's kind of strike our line here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right there. Okay. All right. Other side. So there's our line that we need to basically come down to. That's the bottom point of this front plate, right? So now we need to strike a corresponding line to the back part of the top plate here. So that we can probably just do kind of freehand like this. Yeah, it's gonna need to come out. Let's hang this off the side just to make it a little bit easier on us here. Right there. All right, perfect. All right, so there's our maximum perimeter, right? Which we're not gonna just plate in a rectangular piece of plastic. That would look super dumb, and not very good either. So what we got to do is we got to come up with, you know, a geometric shape, and you can kind of see on these plates that I put on this thing last night, I beveled both of the edges. You know, I beveled the bottom edge of the front part, beveled the back edge of the top part, right? Just to make that look interesting and, you know, different, right? So I think what we'll end up doing here too is to do maybe a small plate on the front of this, you know, kind of this, you know, wide body part here, just to separate it from everything. But you know, I think also what we'll do with this is make it thinner. Maybe use 0.5 millimeter plastic up here just to accentuate that and just to give this thing different levels, you know. You know, and if you've watched the show, you've heard me talk about the different levels of, you know, the design of these types of things, and that's very, very important, right? If we look at the regular Oregon, right? You see that this thing has varying levels, and I'll kind of show you here real quick, right? Especially along the top. I mean, you've got this straight here, which goes down and then comes back up, and then goes down again, comes back up, and then you got this kind of weird roller coaster ride of levels back here. But then front ways, I mean, you've got the, you know, the kind of the wide body part down here, you've got the, you know, normal bit up here and everything, but then of course along the sides, you have differing can't even say that, differing levels as well, right? You've got this indentation here, you've got this indentation here, you've got these raised bit right here, you've got this raised little circle bit right there, and then over here you've got some raised parts and down, up and down here. So, oh, and also too, you got a recessed part right here, right above the drum, and then even the drum has, you know, this kind of raised, let's see if we can get it in the shadow right there, right? So varying that level height is very important aesthetically when it comes to, you know, these types of, you know, Gundam models and things like that, because if you think about it practically, you know, You know, put it in almost like real world terms. And that's what I try to do. I try to bring the real world and the aesthetic together, right? So bringing those, you know, into one cohesive unit is not not easy, but it's not hard at the same time. And you know, varying the levels adds to that and helps your process definitely. So, all right, let's get to designing here. Then, in that case, now what I want to do is I definitely want to start at the back here. Let's bring our 1, 2, 3s back here because they're super helpful. I'm just going to lay this here so you guys can kind of see. But I want to come down straight just a little bit, maybe 3-4 millimeters, maybe to right about here. And I think that'll look really quite good right there. And then what I'm thinking actually now is to do something a little bit different. Instead of going in, you know, toward this area, maybe we go out. So we zig instead of zag. Let's give it a shot. Maybe out just a bit. Come down. Do that type of thing. Actually, let's break some rules. Let's go just I'm just going straight line, hard 90-degree corner there. And then we'll go down here and like that. Yeah, I like that. I like the look of that. Yeah. It's not too overly complicated, but it looks good, right? All right. Yeah, let's go with that. All right. Enrico, what's going on, man? He says, Tim and chat. Hey, Tim and chat. Let's see. Orfeo says, before I leave, guys, check out Pico's modeling. Man does everything freehand. Incredible. Nice. All right, good deal. All right. So what we need to do is transfer this design onto one of these sheets. And then we'll duplicate that. So let's get that off to the side there. Let's just really quickly just kind of just sand off the pencil markings from before. And just by sanding these off, this will actually roughen up the surface a little bit and make it easier to actually draw on too. So I don't hate it. All right. So let's figure this out here. Now we come down how far? Actually, let me think about this. All right, we need to go negative space. So we need to start from here, the bottom, and then cut out. Okay. So we need to start from the bottom back corner back here. Okay. Got it. So then in that case, That's roughly 2 millimeters there. Okay, come on now. All right, so there's our bottom section. Let me just double check here with 2 millimeter plastic strip, just to make sure. I just want to make sure we got the right right bits here. Actually, you know what we'll do? Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Boom. Our high Craig scribing jigs. Let's find the 2 mil. There she is. The scribing jigs, like I said before, are wonderful, perfect for scribing, but they're also really good for measuring too. And this is kind of what we're doing here. So we need to strike the bottom at 2 millimeters. What better way than to have a 2 millimeter, perfect 2 millimeter measuring tool here. So boom, and there we go. So now we don't have to freehand this thing. All right, and that back section will also come out 2 millimeters. Yeah. So this section here. Just like that, perfect. And then, let's see. Now the other really cool thing is that, let's see, we can use our 45-degree angle scribing jigs in this endeavor too, simply because this, here we go. Here we go. Let's see, is this the, we'll get that one there. That's our 1 millimeter 45-degree angle. But that's only one side. They come in both sides, left and a right. Here we go. And we will use them to their utmost potential. All right, so how far? That 8 millimeter. Okay. Right there. Okie dokie. Cool. All right. So from that bottom angle, then we use our scribing jig here. Now this is a 1 millimeter scribing jig, and I'm only using this for the 45-degree angle. I'm not using it for really any other purpose here at this point. So Okay. I didn't think about that. That comes up there. All right, so these aren't going to be useful right now. Okay, no worries. Then in that case, what we'll do, here we go. Good old metal protractor here. Let's get this locked in a 45, which it already is for us. Excellent. Start right there. All right, there's our 45 up. All right, so we're getting rid of this material, all this bit here. This is all the parts that we're going to cut completely off, right? And now we want to make this little jut out here there. So you may want that a bit bigger than what I have in the drawing, because I think it's only about it's roughly 2 millimeters. So I think I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. So I think I may go 3 mil on that. Let's see what we've got. Right there. Going to be a bit tricky because this side of the plastic is pretty thin. Just making sure we got everything squared up here. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. So now we take off this area here. And now you can kind of see our design come into, start to come to shape, as they say. Cool. Okay, so let's get this thing cut. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take in the nippers, and we're going to cut this long edge here, because the nippers are nice and straight. So that gives us a nice straight cut there. And then we're going to do the same thing on this 45. Boom. There's that. Perfect. And then we'll do the same thing for the top. Just making sure everything is straight. There we go. And there's our cutout, right? Now that top part is definitely not straight. We need to fix that. Okay, cool. Okay. Get off of there. Better, but it's not there yet. Okay, that may be the trick right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. All right, so we just need to clean up this inner edge here, and we should be good to go. Just like that. Yeah. There we go. There's our little our plate, right? And now this oh shit, okay. That's why I forgot to compensate for that. Well, god damn it. Okay, no problem, not a problem. All right, so first things first, we need to cut a bit off there. Just need to make sure that this is square. Nope, no, don't move on me. Don't move on me. All right, actually, let's do this. Let's square it up in the chopper here. That might be a little bit easier. No, it's not gonna be easier now that I think about it. Okay. Okay. All right. So there's that. All right. Let's see. Better. Better. Okay. See, what I forgot to do is I forgot to compensate for the top here with this thing, right? So that is the problem that I am running into. So, all right, let's try this again. Oh, okay. I think I went from the wrong mark. That's probably why. Well, son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. That's my bad. Oh, man. Alright, so... Got that there. Alright, and then... Now, I think we do this. so second time's charm. Let's see what we've got here. Alright, yeah. That's better. That's a lot better. Okay, cool. Whew! Alright, we got it. We got it. We got it. Alright, so now let me just duplicate this thing out, which is pretty simple because we just can clip it with our nippers here. Alright, now we just go about cleaning these up, making them nice and even here. There we go. All right. So we have two matching sets here, right? Perfect. Let's get caught up in the chat real quick, you guys. All right. Let's see. Ooh, lots of back and forth here. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Giovanni is with us. What's going on, buddy? He says, hello, everyone. No work today. Nice. So I'll be here all day. Sweet, dude. My eyes are a little watery. Those are not tears. It's, geez, from one of the Oklahoma City Thunder players. We got swept. Oh, last night 4-0. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeesh. Yeah, sweep is never fun. Sweep is never fun. Life, Death, what's going on, Dallas? Good to see you, man. He says, good morning, y'all. Enrico says, couldn't catch the last few streams. Life, work, sure. But I've kind of caught up with the build through the summaries. Yeah, see, that's why I do the summaries, you guys. Simply because, you know, a 2-hour investment of time is a lot. So for those of you that do it, you're legends. I appreciate that. But yeah, not everybody can do that, obviously. So that's why I do the summaries. Michael Dawson's with us. What's going on, Mikey? Hello, everyone. And he says, I get another paid field trip to Chicago again. Bittersweet knowing I won't get a chance to stop by the Gundam base there. Yeah, I've been there, done that before. I've, in a couple previous jobs, had to travel for work and everything. And time was always like next to nothing. There was no time to see anything. And I've been some pretty cool places, but yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Enrico says, so cool that you have those in the US. Yeah, I mean, there's not many though. I think there's just that one in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's like little pop-up places that Bandai puts up and everything. And so, yeah. But the permanent one, I think, is the only one in the US. I think that's the one in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. So, I could be wrong. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Mike says it's just one. If we have to stay at the same hotel last time, it will be an hour drive without traffic, so I can already tell I won't have time. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Enrico says the only hobby shop in my country is 500 kilometers south. Ooh. Yeah, I know that feeling, though. I know that feeling, because there's not many, well, there's no hobby shops locally. The closest decent one to me, and when I say decent, I mean that actually carries shit, like good shit, is like an hour away. So it might as well be 500 kilometers and at that point, because I'm not driving an hour just to go to a hobby shop. So yeah, dude, Enrico, I know that feeling, buddy. I know that feeling. Let's see, Mike says if I lived more west in my state, I could probably take a weekend drive to the Gundam base, but sadly it's a 5 or 6 hour drive from where I work. Rough. Rough. Brandon says, could take an extended lunch and go, even for a little bit. Yeah, that's always rough though. That's tough to do, right? And Rico says 5 to 6 hours for me too. I go every February. Met up with my friend Gumply Uruguay Javier earlier this year. Nice. Javier's awesome. He's good people. That's cool. All right. Excellent. All right. So let's get back to this. Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's check our work here. It's not a perfect match, but it's good enough. And I think it looks actually a little bit better than what I drew beforehand. So, happy accidents. All right. All right. So, we definitely need to mark our glue line here again. So, we're going to put these off to the sides and get this guy mounted up and get this our glue lines set in here, because those are going to be super important for placement of these plates, because we only get one shot because we're using super glue, and yeah, it's one and done. I don't want to go peeling these things off. Same thing for the top here. All right, so there is our glue line. That's upside down. Geez, I gotta make sure I don't do that. Let's just want to square these edges up as much as possible here, so I don't have to do it when it's glued down. Yeah, okay, that looks good. All right, so here goes nothing. We'll see what this does. Wish me luck, you guys. All right. This is going to be a bit tricky. Just because of the angles and everything. All right, and let's get a little piece of scrap here. Just spread our super glue all the way around. All right, there we go. All right, here we are. Let's go. Let's go. That looks good. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Press that into place. Okay, good deal. Alright, so now what we're going to do, now that we have this on here, I'm going to go ahead and clip off some of this excess here, just to get it out of the way for our other side, just to make it a bit easier. Now, also, one thing that I already did, and I wasn't thinking about this in terms of forethought, is I already beveled the edges of the piece that I glued on the top and in the front. So there's a gap between the plate that we just put on and the actual strip on here too. So there's yeah, we need to fill that in. Basically, with just some super glue and everything. But that's going to be some finer work later down the line here, I feel. Not for right this second. There we go. That's a bit better. Little breathing room there. All right. Now, got to do the same thing on this side. We got to strike our glue line here. It's got some schmutz there. Let's get that off of there so we can have a better. I just got some super glue in the corner here. Needed to get that off. Alright. Now, this is starting to go a little wobbly on me because we've got the plate on this side. Now it's not completely level anymore. But that shouldn't be too bad for us here. Get this lined up right there. Nice. All right, there's that. That. Alright, I feel that's not straight down the line. Why is that? Because it's not, that's why. Yeah, that's not straight at all. Okay. Just like a pivot point right there. There we are. See, that's a lot straighter there. Four, yeah, okay, cool. So there's our glue line. Now we need to make sure that we have this properly oriented. Like that. Okay. Whew. Alrighty. Alright. And again, we're just going to spread this glue out here. All right, here we go. Let's get this thing on here. Right there. All right. Right there. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Get that pressed in. All right. Let's see how we look down here. Oh, that's nice and even. Yeah. 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 All right. Woo! Yeah. All right, cool. We've got really, really good placement on this. That's, man, that's, honestly, that's kind of been my Achilles heel since coming back and start modeling again, is just my worry about placing these pieces and everything with super glue, right? You know, with Plastic Magic, obviously you have, you know, a lot more wiggle room and time to get your placement down. But man, you know, with super glue, as good as it is, you only get you get one crack at it. You get one shot, right? So it's a bit nerve-wracking, I'll be honest. But we're getting back in the swing. All right. Very, very good. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's get caught up real quick, and then we'll jump back into it, yeah? Let's see. Brandon says, I work 2-minute walk to a decent hobby shop. Oh, man. Lots of Gundam, evergreen paints, 25-minute drive to another good one, 2.5 hours away from Galactic Toys. Oh, pretty lucky. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Especially Galactic Toys, man. Those guys are great. Zach and the Bleich brothers. They're fucking awesome. I love Zach. I've never met his brother. Never got the opportunity, because the one day that I was up there, I think his brother was at their warehouse or something like that, and so only got the opportunity to meet Zach. But man, the stores that they run are fucking awesome. Like, it is a destination, no lie. If you guys are ever up in like Grand Rapids, like Michigan and everything, woo, that's an awesome store. And the cool thing is like the model, they have just one wall of models, right? And that wall must be at least 12 foot tall. And just Gundam, floor to ceiling, floor to ceiling. huge selection of like P Bandai stuff too. Yeah, awesome place. Zach is good people, and just I can't say enough good things about Galactic Toys, man. They brought me up one time, I think it was back in 2019, to do a class up there, and got to meet Pabs, got to meet Z, got to meet Andrew, and some other folks. Yeah, it was good times. It was really good times, and they were so welcoming and just gracious. Yeah, I just hats off to Galactic Toys, man, straight up. All right, so now let's go super zoom and kind of show you what I'm talking about here with this gap between these two. So let's get this. There we go. So like I said, the parts that I glued down the front and the back, I beveled those around these top edges, right? So there's a gap now where that bevel is between the sheet that we laid down and the strip that I put on there last night. So we're basically just going to have to fill that all the way around back in with super glue, because yeah, there's a bad step right there. So we'll do that next. Let's go back to camera 2. Oh yeah, there we go. Brandon says, I found the stream, I think a couple days after you were up there. Oh, dude, right? That would have been cool as shit, right? Yeah, we had a good turnout for that. I remember there was one little boy that came with his dad, and it was so cute. He just wanted to be there and kind of learn and everything. And Galactic Toys, they charged, I think it was like $15, but you got a high grade to work on during the class and everything. So the dad obviously followed me and everything, and he brought his son, and he couldn't have been more than maybe 5 or 6, and just adorable. And I remember it. Yeah, he was just at one of the tables, just clipping and putting the parts together. Oh man, it was so freaking wholesome. Yeah, that was good times. That was really good times. Yeah. Let's see, what else do we got here? You guys are talking a lot here. Let's see. Let's see. Michael says, I drive almost an hour from my hobby shop. Most of the Gunpla they sell are MSRP in Japan. Oh, shit, or pretty close to it. And they sell the lowest priced PG. Wow, okay. Yeah, worth the drive then. Worth the drive. Mine is US retail, so it's like, and I can get most of the stuff that I need from, the internet anyway. So it's like, I rarely, if ever, go down to the local, and I say that, with quote fingers, maybe once every 2 years or something like that, just to see. But yeah, it's almost not even worth it. So, Michael Dawson, still an arm and a leg though. Oh, for that PG new? Yeah, forget about it. Giovanni says, I got kicked out of a Facebook group. I gave shit to one of the posts. The guy, this guy, he did an awesome, maybe award-winning Master Grade Gelgoog. The paint was flawless. The scribing was impressive. Nice. He did an amazing work. The thing that pissed me off, he was going off in the comments that this was his first time scribing. So I asked him, you mean this is the first time you are scribing a full kit? And he was like, no, this is my first time scribing. I didn't know what scribing was before I started this kit. Huh. He says, Giovanni says, I have ruined multiple kits while trying to scribe them. maybe this year I can fix my Master Grade Delta Plus. I don't know about you guys, but scribing has been a long learning curve. Multiple kits ruined. Yeah, dude. Oh, man, yeah. And see, that's the thing. Scribing, when I first got into scribing, right? My first chisel was the back side of just the back side of an old number 11 blade, right? And that's kind of how I started. You know, when I started scribing, we didn't have a lot of, you know, fancy chisels. And God, now that I hear myself say that, I feel fucking old as shit. Back in my day, yeah. But, you know, we didn't have the Disc by A. We didn't have the MadWorks. We didn't have the BMCs and shit like that. I saw these Japanese dudes in hobby magazines, you know, crafting their own chisels and everything. And I'm like, oh, man, I could do that. So, yeah, I just took a grinder and, you know, ground down the edge so I didn't cut myself accidentally and just snipped off the tip. And, yeah, that was the beginning of that. But it's a very, very weird process when you first start, simply because your hands don't know how to operate a hobby chisel, right? So you need to build up that dexterity. You need to build up that muscle memory in your hands. When I kind of got back into all of this again, yeah, it felt weird again to do it, but it's just like riding a bike, you know, you get after it a few minutes and then you're good to go. But when you first start, yeah, Giovanni, there's no no surprise there that, you know, people have trouble with it, because it is weird. So yeah, just keep at it. Practice, you know, take those old kits that you ruined, and practice on them. You know, they're good test beds. Yeah, trust me, you'll get there. You'll get there. It took me a long while, to get kind of to where I am now. Yeah, it takes hard work. It takes discipline, and it takes practice. So you will get there. You will absolutely get there. Trust me. Trust me. Let's see. Michael Dawson says, I know I should salvage the remix Jagan rifle, but I think I'm going to scratch build the rifle. Be a nice way to increase my skill set, since I've never scratch built before. Yeah. Or, Mikey, or you can do both. You can do both. You can fix up that kit bash that you think you ruined, and then also scratch build something. You could do both. I say do both. Yeah, I say both. Both. Done. Decision made. Travis, what's going on, Travis? He says, I'm lucky we have a couple around and co-run a Gunpla club twice a month. Yeah, that would be cool to get down to, but man, it's so far. Brandon says, local shop shut down 2 years ago. I tried buying out their stock of all the styrene and their last 15 Gundam models. Made them a more than fair offer, 70% retail. Hell yeah. Did they take it? Enrico says, scribing is all about precision, and we're working with non-porous surfaces, so it is indeed a steep learning curve. For some less than others, obviously, but still difficult to get into. Yeah, 100%. Brandon says, when they called me back, they had raised all their pricing and tried getting me to buy it at 70% of that. I was pissed, drove 45 minutes each way to leave empty-handed. Yeah, that's messed up. That's messed up, especially when they're trying to clear stock, you know? That's stupid. Rundus, what's going on, dude? He says, I can't believe how spoiled new builders are, right? Oh man, now you're making us feel, now you're making us sound really old, dude. You spoiled kids. Almost, he says, almost to the point where anything that isn't Gaia notes and God hands or newest RGs aren't worth getting. Yeah. Oh man, back in my day. Brandon says, all right, off to lunch I go. Muting the stream while I'm out of office, but got to help the algorithm. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Let's see. Giovanni says, I have gotten better. We'll send you pics of the scribing I did on the Master Grade gun cannon. It's not perfect, but the scribing I think came out really good. Nice, dude. Dude, practice. Just practice. Practice, practice, practice. Anytime you can, practice, right? So, you know, if you're gonna continue to watch the playoffs and everything, man, practice while you're watching. You know, just have the TV on and just, you know, look up every now and then and just practice. Trust me, it will get you better very, very quickly. Very quickly. Brandon says, we'll turn down my speakers at least. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Let's get back to it. We got 45 minutes to go. Let's run it. Let's run it. All right. So we need to fill in these gaps. That's going to be priority one here for what we're doing right now. Let's see. Let's get this in here. We're just going to use a little scrap piece of plastic as our kind of spreader of the glue. Put our scribing jig back into there. And we got, you know, just a little scrap piece of plastic. I use this as kind of like a palette, just to put little drops of glue and stuff down there. And that's basically what we're going to be doing. We're just going to try to get the glue to go down into this section here, and we may need to, there we are. All right, so we may not need that. It's looking pretty good. All right. Now, let's get just a little bitty drop there because we need to get right in this little corner here. There it is. Let's do the same thing on this side. We'll shape that up once the glue dries, or cures, I should say. And, all right, let's get that there. Nice, 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 nice. All right. Now we're gonna have to be a little careful around this detail, and what I may end up doing is just having to rip that thing off of there because it's only on there with super glue. I may have to rip that thing off of there and reinstall one. Now that I'm thinking about it, that may be the best thing to do. I hate to do it, but at this point I don't have a ton of options. So, fuck. Yeah, I hate doing that. I hate wasting a piece like that. Because I'm naturally frugal by nature, which can be a pain in the ass, but, you know. Ask my daughter, obviously. But yeah, I think that's what we gotta do. Fuck a duck. Alright. Ooh. That came off rather easily. I don't know if that's going to be salvageable, though. No, that's not going to be salvageable, so we're going to toss that just to get that the hell out of the way. Alright, not a problem. Lesson learned. Put that on with plastic magic. Alright, good deal. Now we hit this with some kicker. And then we give it a few. Boom. Nice. Alright, that's starting to crystallize. We'll give that a few minutes here. We'll give that a few minutes. Alright. Oh, alright, let's get caught up here. Let's get caught up. Let's see. Brennan says I buy entry grade models for $8 to $12 to practice on them. Yeah. And see, that's like the perfect thing to do. Or if you can get, like, you know, secondhand models or something like that, just, you know, models or parts even, because you don't even need a full model. You realistically, you just need parts. So you have extra parts, even the parts, you know, that came extra on the runner in some of these kits, right? Practice on those. They're basically free at that point, right? You know, you can practice scribing, you can practice notches, sculpting, you know, recesses, all that stuff. So, yeah, I say practice on anything that you can get within financial reason at that point, right? So, yeah. Mike says, I shall do half and half. I do like the front of the Jagan's rifle after all. Nice. Man, get some. Alright. So this glue should be crystallized now. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let's just get all the excess kicker off of here that hasn't evaporated yet. And it usually does pretty quickly. Yeah. Sweet. Alright, that's all good to go. So now we can trim this guy down. And I'm not going to go through a huge amount of work with this because luckily these longer sections we can just file down and get it nice and flat. I'm just going to basically trim off the excess here as much as possible. Pretty good. We'll just kind of do that same process all the way around. We're going to need to do some finer work on the shorter edges and things like that, but these longer edges we can just go in and with a file or sanding block or something like that and just get those nice and smooth. It'll save us a lot of time and a lot of effort, honestly. So all right, now this is one edge that we need need to be careful on. Oh, did I miss a spot? Yep, I did. Son of a bitch. Okay. Missed a spot here. We got a little gap. Right there. All right. Little kicker. Now, since that's such a small spot, it's not gonna take too long. That should be good. Maybe not completely, but now it is. All right, excellent. There we are. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Cool. And that looks like it was supposed to be together like that. Perfect. Okay. Trim that. All right. Excellent. Let's go back here. Alright, just getting these parts even. It's always the toughest part, especially when gluing these things in place like this, right? Now, the convenient part about having half mil plastic here is you can actually cut these right in place to fit, which makes life a little bit easier. I mean, you don't want to do that for the entire piece, but just for you know, fine tuning and everything, man, it works really, really well. It works really well, and that's just something I had to do right there as well. All right, and then let's get this edge trimmed down there. Okay. All right, get everything cleaned up along these edges here. That's always the really tedious fucking part.
Got this little stubborn bit right here that just does not want to come loose. There it is. All right. Jesus. Finally. There we are. All right. So... much better. All right, so now let's go ahead and start getting these long edges trimmed down. Let me just a little bit off of the front here. Okay, so let's start with the file first. Just really start to knock these edges and glue down and everything. All right, that's already starting off pretty good. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so now let's give the old sanding block a go. That's really good. That's really good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with this little God hand file thingy that I inherited. This actually is super, super helpful. Kind of surprised by it, honestly. Yeah, that makes it just so incredibly smooth. I'm kind of shocked by that, if I'm being honest. All right, let's check for square. All right, we're a little heavy on the back, so let's kind of start to taper the back down a little bit here. All right, that's much better. That's much better. All right, let's take this guy back on here. Nice. All right, let's check for square on the angles. Dead ass. Jolly good. All right, cool. So that worked a treat. That worked a treat. Yeah. That's starting to look super nice. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Let's check square and see what we're looking like. Nice. It's still really nice and square. Still have some work to go on this thing. Let's get the bigger sanding block in here. I gotta be really careful because this is a smaller surface area compared to this block. So we can very, very easily get this thing out of square. Not yet, though. Yep, still looking really good. All right, and then let's get this guy. Let's get this guy involved here. Come on. I can't get over how smooth the surface is using this thing. And the teeth feels like it's going to be aggressive. Like an aggressive file, which leaves, you know, teeth marks, like patterns and stuff like that. Like this is a pretty aggressive file, and this leaves marks in the plastic, which then I have to go back and fix. But this, I don't know what kind of black magic technology that they're using, but it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. All right, now we got to fix this front edge bevel here, and let's just trim off these nasty corners here from the super glue and plating process, and then we'll hit it with a file. Nice. Little heavy on that side. All right, let's go with our little god hand friend here. Ooh, there we go. There we go. All right, let's double check the angles. Dead ass square. Dead ass square. Damn, nice. All right, so profile so far looking pretty good. Still a bunch of cleanup to do, but man, we're cooking on this thing. We're cooking. All right. Let's see if I can manage to get this guy in the corner here. Ooh, look at that. Nice. All right. A little adjustment here in terms of pressure. Yeah. Jeez. This thing. All right. I'm becoming a God hand believer, you guys. Just very, very quickly. I can't believe it. I thought they just made overpriced shit, honestly. Straight up. But, yeah. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Alright. Just got to clean up this little surface right here. And we're basically done with the filling process. Man, that's such an odd angle. I think we got it. I think we got it. All right, no stair stepping that I can tell. All right. Yeah. So now, let's see what this looks like. Ooh. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's starting to really take shape. That's starting to really take shape. And then once we get our little barrel opening there, yeah, and I want to plate here 0.5 millimeter too. Let's see, that side, that's actually perfect right there, this little scrap piece. Just square up the top edge, because that's really all we're going to need to be clean. Very nice, very nice. Let's get this disassembled. Get off of there. What time is it? 1:44. Sweet. We got time. We got time. Got to clean the tip of that super glue bottle. All right. Again, placement is crucial. Kick it. There's gonna be some nasty cleanup around the front of that thing there. We're gonna let that sit for a few minutes. All right, let's get caught up. Let's get caught up in the chat, shall we? Let's see. Hey, there's Bill. What's going on, Bill? Good to see you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Enrico says, late to the scribing practice talk, but agree, plot plate and cheap kits are great for practice. Just go into it knowing you'll make mistakes. Hell yeah. As Pain Pusher says, yes, my good friend Win, love that dude. We just need to fail faster, right? The quicker you fail, the more and faster you learn. That is fucking brilliant. Again, like, that motherfucker has the best goddamn lines. You son of a bitch. Good old fucking Win. Oh, man. Giovanni says, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. I'll still be here. But since I'm not working today, taking the wife to lunch. Aww. After we come back, I'll be working on my kits today. Nice. Giovanni, enjoy it, man. Enjoy your day off. Well deserved. Well deserved. Enrico says, that's looking so good, Tim. Very cohesive design. So far, yeah. And mind you, this is the other thing to keep in mind. Like, I have a vision in my head of what this thing will look like. You guys can't see that, right? You guys are basically, as the old euphemism says, you're seeing the sausage being made, right? I have the sandwich pictured in my head. So that's, another kind of hurdle, but yeah, thank you. If it's looking cohesive, already, man, that's a win. That's a win. Yeah. Yo, I can see this already, and man, I like the look of this. I like the look so far. All right, where do we begin on this? Well, number one, we need to get this glue squeeze out addressed here. Looks nice and square. Okay, good. All right, let's start from this edge. Nice. Okay. This is kind of where it starts to get a bit tricky, and I think what we'll do is we'll go after the long edge first, and that'll set us up a little bit easier for these kind of big bevels on both sides of this piece. Not too bad. Not there yet, but not too bad. Now for this big old edge right here, we can actually take our little God hand file thing. Nice. Very good. Very good. Okay. Cool. So now, let me get this side done first, and then we'll get after those two big beveled areas. Very good. Very, very good. All right. Perfect. All right, so now let's start to attack these big bevels here. Here's the little jeweler's file. Let's get that. Still a little work to do on there. It's not perfect just yet, and I can see some sanding dust got caught up. Yep, there we go. There's still a little super glue residue on there. Scrape that down. Now let's take the file back to it. Let's see what... Yeah, that right there. Nice and smooth. Corner looks good. Surfaces, yeah. All right, let's get this other one going here. What time is it? 1:53. Nice. All right, cool. Very good, very good. All right, and... Man, this is such a weird angle. It's because you're dealing with the flat part of this, and this is coming down, and then this is beveled, and it's just, yeah, really tough to even up there. But you know, you look at that. See the different levels in the front there? Right along the front. I mean, you got a 1.5 millimeter protrusion there. You've got the normal level of, you know, the box, the geometry, and then you've got a 0.5 millimeter, you know, protrusion there. And that just looks really freaking good. That's what that's kind of what I mean. You gotta vary the level of things to make it come together, to make it look like one solid piece. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And one of the things that you gotta keep in mind when you get to kind of this level of customizing, scratch building, all that, it's damn near constant tinkering. Because you're going to notice, oh, I need to clean that up, or oh, I need to do this, or oh, I need to do that, right? It's constant levels of that. And to keep everything looking good, you gotta do it. Attention to detail, it's everything. It's everything in this. Because one thing I do is, obviously my attention to detail is crazy high. Perfection, all of that, right? Even down to the smallest little thing, the smallest little uneven surface I have to fix, right? Because when I think about it, when this model is done, when I take photos of this, I am going to be taking photos with my, macro, they're tubes. They, attach onto a lens, and they basically turned it into a macro lens. So that's what I'm thinking in my head, is that these details are going to be seen at a macro level. And what a lot of people do, and I see this all the time online, people will take pictures from far away, relatively, and never really show you the close-up of details or the surface or anything like that. I'm the opposite, man. I get right in it. You can see, like pictures of Airdrop or Ozymandias or the Hummingbird or the Blue Destiny or whatever. I get in super tight, so you can see those details, so you can see the surface and how smooth it is. And a lot of folks don't do that, and because honestly I think probably a good portion of them are scared to get in real close, because chances are their models look like shit, up close. But, from far, yeah, they look pretty decent, right? And surprisingly, a lot of Japanese modelers are guilty of this. A lot of them. I won't name names, but there is a very famous modeler who donated a model to Otaku ME. When I was there in 2019, my friend James Quinsot, who is a very high level modeler, he's gone to GBWC, I think at very least once, maybe multiple times. Someone who I look to for inspiration in terms of the hobby. And when I was able to, go over there in 2019, James was working at the store at the time. And, we're walking around together looking at things and stuff like that. And I looked at this model, and I'm getting in real close and looking at it. And I turned to James and I'm like, is it just me, or is that not really that good? And he gets this look on his face like, yeah, it's not. But man, from far away, it looks picturesque. Looks divine. But close up, ooh, yeah. Close up, it's a bit rough around the edges. So, that old saying, good from far, but far from good? Yeah, big time. All right, let's check in. Ooh, god damn, that looks good. Look at that. Look at that. That front end. Oh, that is really starting to come together.
Look at that. Look at oh yeah, look at that profile. That's nice. That's really nice. And then from the other side, damn. Yeah. Yeah. Just from all angles, that thing is looking right. That thing is looking right. Yeah. She got some stank on her. Wu-Tang. Anyway, good shit, you guys. Good fucking shit. All right, let's get caught up here real quick, yeah? Oh, let's see. Yeah, oh man, Enrico, another killer line, yeah, from Win. God, he's good, man. He's so good. And envisioning the sandwich is the crucial part. Oh, shit. Yeah, well, I made a good one too, I guess, eh? Oh shit. Yeah, you got to envision the sandwich. You got to envision the sandwich. Bill says that metal plate by Godhand is the GHES90. Looks to run about $40 or so. Holy crap for this? This little thing is 40 bucks. My God. Like, don't get me wrong. This is really freaking good. And like I said, I don't know what kind of black magic that Godhand put into this thing, but I don't know if I'd spend $40 on it. Again, I'm frugal, so your mileage may vary. So, yeah. Giovanni says it's the Monet of the Monet of model kits. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Enrico says, gotta go, boys. Lesson starting. My students are literally listening to Tim talking right now. Hey, kids! Thank you for tuning in. Enrico, take care, man. Nice. And Buck, what's going on, buddy? He says, is that glass or metal? No, this is metal. Yeah, this is a metal. And that's all that it is. It's literally just a plate of metal with, a file, file teeth ground into it. And, yeah, I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's nice. But I don't know if I'd spend $40 on it. Yeah. I don't know if I'd spend $40 on it. Maybe 20, maybe half that. You got to think, like, how much does this cost to make? Like, the steel is not going to be that much. It's going to be pennies, right? The grounding process, again, not that much. And then I'm guessing that's laser etched on the back. Or maybe just, because I don't think it's printed. Because it's not consistent across when you shine light on it. There's some sheen to it. So I think that's lasered into it. But what are they spending? $2-3 on this thing for production? And then obviously you got to figure, parts, labor, overhead, acid etch, maybe, Bill, maybe, yeah. Labor, overhead, marketing, all of that. They're probably making bank off these things if they're charging 40 bucks. They gotta have at least a 50% profit margin. At least. Jeez, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. And Buck says they're probably making a huge sheet and stamping off the small files too. It's probably not hard to make in volume too. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. This could very well just be a cutoff from other manufacturing that they get for, pennies by the pound or whatever,
because it's such a small little just scrap piece of metal, you know? This is wild to me. Just wild. Anyway. Alright. You guys, we did good work today. And this thing is coming together really, really well. Where's that arm? Let's get a beauty shot here real quick as we part ways for the day. Need the visor to see what the hell I'm doing here. Because last thing I need is to break this tab. There she is. Yeah. Come on. Come on. That looks... Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. That looks good in hand. Look at that, right down the middle. There's no problem holding it. There's no collision with the forearm. I mean, there's just a little space under there, but still, you know, enough to flex flex the hand and everything. It can move back and forth like that. Yeah. Yeah. That, yeah, look at that. I'm looking at it on the screen, and it looks so freaking good. Yeah. All right. Cool. Enough oogling at the weapon. Yeah. Bill says doesn't look to be a common item to keep in stock. Looks like an extension of their small stainless steel files that come in different grits in a pack. Gotcha. Jesus. So yeah, I'd imagine those are probably offcuts then, or something like that from something else if they're not common to keep in stock. I'd venture a guess. So, but yeah. Anyway, all right, you guys. Back to camera one here. Here we go. All right. So remember, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. So with that being said, we are done for the streams today. No stream tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue working on this gun. As much as I want to continue working on it now, I will not. I promise you. And we'll get this kicked off tomorrow. Continue working on this thing. Continue shaping it. Yeah, I've got some other ideas for this that I think will look really, really good in terms of that levels, those aesthetic levels. I'm thinking of maybe overlapping some different levels and stuff like that here too that will give it some really nice visual punch. So come on back for that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, be safe out there, build something cool, and yeah, bye.